A woman named Hae-won works at a bank in Seoul. She is strict, impatient, and often cold toward others. Her position demands precision, and she has little tolerance for mistakes. Over time, this hardened attitude isolates her from her co-workers, who see her as distant and unapproachable. One evening, Hae-won passes through a parking garage and notices a man beating a woman. The assault is brutal, and the victim is left for dead. Hae-won sees everything clearly, but she turns away. She convinces herself it is not her responsibility. Later, the same man harasses her, taunting her directly, but she still refuses to come forward. She stays silent, thinking that if she keeps her distance, the matter will never touch her. At her job, her tension grows worse. One day, a janitor accidentally locks her inside the restroom while cleaning. Hae-won panics and assumes she has been deliberately trapped as part of a cruel prank. When she is freed, she lashes out at a female co-worker, striking her across the face in front of others. Only afterward does she realize the woman had nothing to do with it. The damage is done. Her superiors treat the incident as the final straw. They dismiss her from the bank, cutting her off from the career she once held tightly. Alone and without direction, she receives an invitation from an old friend. It is Bok-nam, a woman from her childhood on Mudo, a small island in the south. Bok-nam has written her countless letters over the years, though Hae-won never answered. Now, with nowhere else to go, she accepts the offer and prepares to leave the city behind. Hae-won boards the ferry to Mudo. The boat ride is long, taking her away from the busy streets of Seoul and into open waters. She sits quietly, watching the waves, her expression unreadable. Other passengers chatter around her, but she keeps to herself, locked in her own thoughts. When the ferry finally reaches the island, Bok-nam is waiting. She runs up to Hae-won with open arms, overjoyed to see her after so many years. Her welcome is full of warmth, almost desperate, as if Hae-won's visit means more than just a reunion. For Bok-nam, it is a rare moment of light. The island is small, poor, and undeveloped. The houses are old, and the community is tightly bound by tradition. The villagers greet Hae-won with curiosity, though their smiles are thin. Bok-nam eagerly leads her guest to her home, a modest house where she lives with her husband, Man-jong, their young daughter Yeon-hee, and Man-jong's brother. It doesn't take long for the truth to show. Bok-nam is treated like a servant. She works endlessly, cooking, cleaning, farming, while the men bark orders at her. Man-jong is openly cruel, insulting and striking her whenever he pleases. His brother's gaze lingers on her in a way that is far from innocent. Even the older village women mock her, reminding her of her low status. Through all of this, Bok-nam hides her pain behind forced smiles. The only real joy she has left is her daughter, Yeon-hee. She dotes on the child, protecting her fiercely, whispering about dreams of leaving the island together. Bok-nam's life revolves around giving her daughter the chance she herself never had. Hae-won notices the abuse. She sees the bruises and hears the cruel words, but she remains silent. She convinces herself, once again, that it is not her problem. Days pass on the island. Hae-won spends her time walking along the shore, sitting under the trees, and watching the villagers work. She keeps herself apart, observing but never interfering. Bok-nam, however, clings to her company, talking endlessly, as if she has been waiting years to finally be heard. One evening, Bok-nam quietly reveals her plan. She wants to escape Mudo with Yeon-hee. She dreams of moving to the mainland, finding work, and raising her daughter in safety. With tears in her eyes, she begs Hae-won for help, but Hae-won refuses. She listens but offers nothing, keeping her walls up. Bok-nam's face falls, yet she continues to hope. Life on the island grows darker. Man-jong's abuse worsens. He treats Bok-nam with open contempt, striking her when she speaks out, mocking her when she stays silent. His brother circles like a predator, and the older women of the village only laugh when they see Bok-nam suffer. No one offers her kindness, except her daughter. Yeon-hee becomes the center of Bok-nam's world. The little girl clings to her mother, sensing the danger that surrounds them. Bok-nam shields her as best she can, but even this bond cannot escape the cruelty of Man-jong. One night, Bok-nam catches her husband grooming Yeon-hee, crossing lines that no father should. Rage and terror flash through her, but she is powerless against him. She confronts Hae-won again, begging her to see the truth. Hae-won witnesses the signs clearly, yet she withdraws once more, unwilling to act. The situation comes to a breaking point. During a violent argument, Man-jong attacks Bok-nam. Yeon-hee rushes in, trying desperately to defend her mother. In the struggle, the girl is struck down. She collapses lifeless at Bok-nam's side. Bok-nam screams, holding her daughter's body, her world collapsing in an instant. Through her sobs, she admits the terrible truth. Yun-hee may not even be Man-jong's child. Years of abuse from the island's men have left her uncertain, another wound that never healed. The next morning, the authorities arrive on the island. Villagers gather, whispering and pointing, but none of them speak the truth. They all insist Yun-hee's death was an accident. The men stand firm, the women nod in agreement, and no one dares to challenge Man-jong's word. Hae-won, who saw everything, is questioned by the police. They ask if she witnessed the attack. After a pause, she lies. She claims she was asleep and knows nothing. Her silence seals Bok-nam's fate. Once again, she chooses not to get involved. Bok-nam is left broken, kneeling beside her daughter's body. She searches the crowd for support, but there is none. Even her old friend has abandoned her. In that moment, grief turns into something darker. Years of humiliation, pain, and betrayal collapse into a single, burning resolve. Later, when the officers leave, Bok-nam moves through the village with a sickle in her hand. Her face is pale, her eyes empty. The first to fall are the elderly women who tormented her. She strikes them down without hesitation, their screams silenced in seconds. She turns next to her mother-in-law, who flees in terror. Bok-nam chases her to the edge of cliff. The older woman sees Man-jong's boat approaching from the sea and rushes toward the edge, hoping to reach help. But her poor eyesight betrays her. She misjudges the distance, slips, and falls violently onto the rocks below. Blood stains the stones, and the waves carry her body away. Bok-nam does not stop. She grips the sickle tightly and waits for the men to return. When Man-jong and his brother return to the island, they find the village in chaos. Bok-nam is waiting. She moves quickly, her rage fixed on the men who tormented her. The brother is the first target. Before he can react, she swings the sickle with full force, severing his head in one brutal strike. His body collapses to the ground. Man-jong shouts and charges at her. He overpowers her for a moment, pinning her down, his hands around her throat. He sneers that she will either die or become his wife again. Bok-nam stares back at him, then shifts her tone. She pretends to submit, brushing against him, licking the knife in his hand as if to tempt him. The act works. Man-jong lowers his guard, smug and distracted. In that instant, Bok-nam bites into his finger and wrenches free. She grabs the blade and plunges it into him. He roars in pain, striking her across the face, but she does not stop. She stabs again and again, forcing him back. Man-jong reaches for an axe, trying to end it, but Bok-nam blocks him. She wrestles the weapon away and hacks at him with relentless fury. When he finally collapses, she continues until there is no strength left in him. His blood stains the ground and his body lies shattered. Before leaving him behind, Bok-nam smears his corpse with bean paste, mocking his cruel habit of treating her bruises with. Her rage is no longer hidden. It consumes everything. Nearby, Hae-won watches in horror. She flees toward the dock, desperate to escape the massacre. But Bok-nam follows, determined not to let her go so easily. At the dock, the oarsman waits beside his boat. Seeing Bok-nam approach, he panics, but it is too late. She charges at him, furious that he always sided with Man-jong and never once stepped in to help. The two struggle violently. Hae-won scrambles into the boat, trying to push it away from the pier. The fight between Bok-nam and the oarsman grows desperate until his leg slips into the water near the motor. The spinning propeller catches him. In an instant, he is torn apart, his body shredded by the blades. The water turns red. Bok-nam stares at the remains before turning her eyes on Hae-won. The woman she once called a friend now sits trembling, clutching the oar. Hae-won manages to steer the boat away, her only thought to reach the mainland alive. Bok-nam watches from the dock as the boat drifts farther and farther from the island. The screams and blood of the villagers fade behind her, leaving the island empty, stripped of nearly all its people. But Bok-nam is not finished. Her fury is not only for the islanders. She still remembers Hae-won's silence, her refusal to help, her lies to the police. That betrayal cuts as deep as any abuse she endured. So she sets out after her, determined to confront her in Seoul. Bok-nam arrives in Seoul carrying only a few things, among them the old recorder from her childhood with Hae-won. The instrument is a reminder of the bond they once shared before years of silence and neglect pulled them apart. Now it serves as both a memory and a weapon. Meanwhile, Hae-won is brought into a police station for questioning. Investigators confront her with evidence that she witnessed Yun-hee's death but lied in her statement. Cornered, she struggles to defend herself, but her cold detachment is crumbling. Bok-nam enters the station soon after. Her presence is sudden and violent. A policeman raises his gun and fires, striking her, but she refuses to fall. Fueled by rage, She grabs a sledgehammer and smashes it into him, killing him instantly. Chaos erupts as officers shout and civilians run. Hae-won finds herself face to face with her former friend. Bok-nam, bleeding and exhausted, advances slowly, recorder still in hand. For her, this is not just revenge against the villagers. It is a final reckoning with Hae-won. The two women struggle. Hae-won reaches for whatever she can find to defend herself. At last, her hand closes around the broken recorder. As Bok-nam lunges, Hae-won drives the jagged instrument into her body. Bok-nam, she dies in Hae-won's arms, the recorder between them. The bond they once shared ends in blood. With Bok-nam's death, the violence finally ends. The police secure the station, removing the bodies left in her path. Outside, the city continues on as if nothing happened, but for Hae-won, nothing is the same. Back on the island, almost no one remains alive. Those who tormented Bok-nam are gone, killed, buried, or left to rot. The once busy village has become silent, its traditions and cruelty consumed by the revenge it created. In Seoul, Hae-won sits in silence. The recorder, now broken, rests beside her. She replays the memories she had pushed away, Bok-nam's letters she ignored, the pleas she dismissed, and the truth she denied. The weight of her choices presses down on her until she cannot escape it. For the first time, Hae-won chooses to act. She seeks out the men responsible for the assault she once witnessed in the parking garage. This time, she does not look away. She points them out to the police, identifying them without hesitation. It does not bring back Yeon. It does not bring back Bok-nam, but it is the first step toward breaking the silence that allowed everything to happen. The story closes with Hae-won alone, burdened by guilt yet changed by what she has seen. Her friend's letters, once discarded, are finally read. Each word reminds her of a woman she could have saved but didn't until it was too late.